Hey everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood lead ad here. When I was a wee lad, I used to partake in the same dream as every other 12-year-old boy with no friends dreams about. I'm of course talking about the small loan of a million memes, the Boy Scouts of America. Now, I'm not saying that the BSA is all bad. I met some cool dudes back in the day, but my particular troop was like absolute cancer. I'm pretty sure they sent the full retards there because no other troop would take them. I mean, we had everything. We had a kid yelling at everybody. We had a kid who hit everybody. We had a kid who looked like a fucking potato. And then we had a few normal people who I liked to call the Tard Wranglers. I was a Tard Wrangler, except I hated being a Tard Wrangler with a fucking passion. I was always forced to help out with the little retards pissing on themselves, but I'm telling you that it was the last fucking thing I wanted to do. I remember there was this one kid in particular. His name was Billy. We're gonna call him Billy. Now, Billy was a special kind of stupid. He had like a mild case of Asperger's, and ADHD, but not to the point where he couldn't control it. But his dad was such a fucking kid, and he taught the little shit that he can do whatever he fucking wants, and he shouldn't feel bad about it because he's mentally handicapped, which he wasn't really. But I didn't know this at first. When he first showed up, I had been in Boy Scouts for about 2 years now, and I knew what it was like to be the new kid. So this shy dude shows up, and I'm like, alright, I'm gonna be the cool guy. So I'm like the only one who talks to him that day, and I'm trying to be cool to some new kid. Well, the next week, I didn't come to Boy Scouts. I forget why, but I didn't come to the Boy Scouts that week. But the next week, the week after that, we were going camping. So I figured since everybody knows each other except him, everybody would want to get in a tent with their friends. Like, usually I tent with my brother, and then my best friend, and then my brother's best friend. And then we all set up fucking playing card games and shit like that. So I figured I'd be a volunteer this time and get in a tent with Billy so he doesn't feel left out. But as soon as I told my best friend Jonathan that, he started talking about some shit. Man. He said, you don't want to do that. That kid is annoying as hell. And I'm like, oh, I'm sure he's fine. And, so I bugged with him anyway. So, camp shit happens. Then it's 10 p.m. and now it's time for bed. We all go into our respective tents to basically babble to each other until we fall asleep. Keywords being, until we fall asleep. So, I get in there with Billy and start talking to him. Seems like a cool dude at first, but likes video games too much, talks really fast. But after a tiny debate over whether or not Final Fantasy VI is better than Mystic Quest, the dude sits up and takes his shirt off. Which already makes me uncomfortable to be sitting in a tent alone with a dude with his shirt off and his man ticks hanging out in the breeze. But as soon as he does it, he just fucking stares at me. Not like Mystic Quest is better or sorry for taking my shirt off, but more like, well, you gonna take yours off or what? And I just sit there and say, dude, why? And he goes, I don't know. And he lays back down, continuing to stare at me. So then I lay down and say, I'm going to bed, good night. And then he fucking screeches, no! Stay up and talk! I'm like, no, I'm tired. Seriously, go to bed. And then I turn away from him on my side and try to go to sleep. But this is where he decides it would be a fucking great idea to spit and lick and suck all over his fucking grimy little index finger and then jam that shit as far into my ear as he possibly could get it. And this is what made me pissed as hell. I started virtually yelling at the kid as loud as I possibly could without waking everybody else in the entire camp up. All while he was sitting there laughing with this fucking smug-ass grin on his face. So I sat there for a second afterwards and then had this idea. And I said, dude, did I tell you about the card? And he goes, what card? And I said, I found a super rare Final Fantasy DS card outside in the bushes. And he goes, really? And I said, yeah, go find it. And he goes, okay. And then he gets out of the tent to go find it. And as soon as he gets out of the tent, I shut and locked the zipper on it. So when he came back and found out it was locked, he got pissed and started whining. And I really didn't care. So I put on headphones and went to sleep. And he sat there whining for like 10 minutes before going and sleeping in his dad's tent. Needless to say, I was in huge trouble when I woke up, but, I really didn't care. And after about 3 months of dealing with Billy's fucking shit, everybody in the troop knew exactly why I didn't, and they didn't really blame me. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. If you like to support the vids, then be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you dudes later.